Greetings once again, Pepin Falcons, and welcome to another edition of Math is More Than Fun at Pepin. I'm your host, Mr. Newber, and this is part 2 of the core skills that we need in order to convert fractions to decimals to percents. We're going to be taking a close look today at these skills and try to build on what we found in part 1. All right? So this is where we left it in part 1. We are looking at this fraction, 4/5, and we did mention that some of you may have a question. What do we do? How do I remember to divide the divider, the denominator into the numerator instead of the other way around? And it's very easy. If you do it the wrong way, you're going to end up, this numerator is going to go into the denominator. And if you divide this correctly, you're always going to end up with more than 1. You can't have more than 1. When you're dividing a denominator into a numerator, you are going to get a decimal. That decimal must be less than 1. It must be cents, not a dollar. It can't be more than a dollar. Here we got $1.25. So this is incorrect. There is no way that this can be correct, because there's no place for it over here. There's no place for $1.25 over here, because the scale ends with $1. So you go back and you do it the other way. You divide the larger number into the smaller number. And if you're using a calculator, we also mentioned you can just go from top to bottom. And that is 4 divided by 5. The numerator divided by the denominator. Okay? Then when we get this of course, we work this out where 5 goes into 48 times. Okay, so once we put the decimal point and the 0 on there, we put the decimal point above the line, and we get over here, and we see that we have a 1-place decimal. That's okay to put a 0. That doesn't change it. I'm not going to do this because I'll have to erase it, but I can put zeros all the way up. It's still 0.8. All right? So we turn this into, remember, we need money. We need money here. This looks like 80 cents, and actually it is, all right? So then it's easy to go from that to this step for percentage and erase that decimal point and put the percent sign in, and you are done. You have taken a fraction, converted it to a decimal, and changed it into a percent. Okay? All right. The next step here, I want to illustrate to you what it is that we have accomplished to this point, and that is in these conversions, we have found that that we can convert a fraction into a decimal. So division is going to convert the fraction into the decimal. Okay? All right. We also found how easy it is to take the decimal and convert it into, we'll put the decimal here, and convert that decimal into a percent. We also saw how easy it is to take the percent and turn it into the decimal. That was pretty easy, right? All we do is remove the point and put in the decimal or the percent sign. That's all we have to do for that. So there's one left, and that is, how do we turn a decimal? Let me make a headline out of this so I can spot it when I'm looking at it. So now we're going to take a look at how do we turn a decimal into a fraction. And if you notice on your sheet, if I was to ask you which problems on your worksheet are you less sure about, most of you are going to say the one that's missing the fraction in the fraction column, because it gives me the percent and the decimal. I know how to do that. You just take out the decimal point and put in but to go from a decimal to a fraction, how exactly do we do that? And that's what the rest of this that I want to cover today in the next 15 minutes is all about. Now this column here, if you remember, we ended up, and you went ahead and changed down at the bottom of your worksheet, you changed this and you put in a fraction that's equal to 1. You put in 1.00, like a dollar for the decimal, can't be more than that. And over here, we already discussed this 100% is the most you can have. All right, so we already did that. Excuse me. So how can we do this? I want you to think of decimals as money. I can write out a sum of money, like I could write the words $12.99, or I can simply use this. This is why I told you, when I see two places in a decimal, whether there's dollars or not, two places in decimals, I think money. Excuse me. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to think money when we do this. So a couple of the examples that I have here, I'm going to put my glasses on so when I wrote this out, I don't want you to miss any of this. So stay tuned. All right. All right. We are looking at, let's take something that we know. Let's take this one. Everybody knows this one. In your conversations with your friends, this might be 50, but it's not 50, it's 50. This is 50 cents, all right? Not 50 cents. All right, so I'm gonna, and we know that converts very easily to 50%. We also know that is half of $1. We know over here 50% is half of 100%. If you're giving 50% in an effort, you're giving half. All right, you're not giving the full 100%. All right, so how can we do this out of money? Well, I want you to think of this. If this is 50, I'll put this up here where everybody can see it. Take this on. This is actually 50 cents. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to go this way and I'm going to say that is actually, I don't like that. One thing we know is when we get a fraction, we're not going to have a decimal point. Ronnie Millsap can see that. All right, so let's start to change this a little bit. And let's go to that little cent sign. Your phone, if you have an older phone, you don't even have a cent sign on there because this is the way money is traditionally and professionally written, not 50 cents. You might see that with little bubble gum or something like that. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to bring it over here. This is actually 50 pennies. And where did we say 100 pennies was? Right there. $1 is actually 100 pennies. If you had 100 pennies, you have $1. All right? We're talking about 50 pennies. And we are in a scale of 100. So this is actually 50 of 100 pennies. Okay? Now, how did we write something when we were talking about pizza? And you remember the pizza here. Let's go over here. And now somebody there is thinking, it might be Kylie, it might be Manny. Somebody in there is thinking, all right, we finally got to pizza. Okay, now we know he's serious about doing fractions. All right. So here's a pizza. And I'm going to put in the pepperoni, and I'm trying to not fall behind, so I'm just do 3. All right, so here we go. Everybody here, hopefully everyone here can tell me that this pizza, if I'm going to write a fractional amount of this pizza, how much of a pizza is that? First of all, you should be able to tell me that's not a whole pizza. There's 3 slices missing. It's not one whole pizza, all right? So how are you going to tell me what that fraction is? You're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, after the pizza was cut, we had 6 slices. Here it is. We started with 6 slices. How many slices are actually there? Count the pepperoni. 1, 2, 3. We have 3/6 of a pizza. That's actually 1/2. Some of you probably know that. We have 3 out of 6. 3 out of 6, or 3 of 6 slices. 3 of 6 slices in the whole thing. Where have I heard that? 3 of 6. Oh, right here. That's 50 of 100. 50 pennies of 100, 3 slices of 6. You already know this. I'm trying to show you it's related to this, all right? So what is the fraction for that? There. Wasn't that nice? Yes. 50. This one right here. We started with money. We got rid of the decimal point before we even, and this is the fractional equivalent of 50 cents. Okay? So I have a couple other things up here that I want to do. We use the same terminology, everything. So I'm going to take this off so as not to confuse anyone. And I'm going to take this off because I had a couple other things here that I wanted to show you. Okay, so any decimal. And this is, we're working with a lot of decimals that are the same. I want to show you that it doesn't have to be that way. Let's say that you look at a problem and of course the fraction's missing. That's what we're doing. Converting a decimal to a fraction. Oh, by the way, I think you figured out by now you are not going to take the percent and figure out the fraction. All right, you're going to figure the fraction from the decimal because it's practically the same number and set up the same way. So I have an example here of a number you haven't seen yet in math class, not since I've been with you. In the decimal column is 0.63. Okay, well obviously over here is going to be what percent? Somebody said, Lewis, did you say 63%? Yes, that's over here in this column. I'm not going to write that there because I'm going to figure out the fraction this way, all right? So we have 63. What does that actually mean? What's the 63 cents? Well, it's obviously in line here. It's definitely, 63 cents is definitely less than $1. If I have $1 at 63 cents and I'm offering you a little change, you're going to take the $1, okay? So it's definitely less than $1. What do we have here? Well, first of all, we know this is money. Now, I can take that to get rid of the decimal point, and I can do it this way. 63 centavos, all right? 63 cents that way. So what does that mean? That means 63 cents of the 100 that make $1. 63 of 100. And so that can be written over here, 63 over 100. Not bad, huh? And that I wanted to use an example of a number you don't see very often when you're working with fractions, okay? This is also going to work. This is very notable here. The next thing I'm going to say is, you know that if I write this, I'm looking for my time here, if I write this, you know that is not 9 cents, hopefully. How do I know that is not 9 cents? Well, I'm going to do what I've done for everything else. I'm going to put a dollar sign there. And then you remember over here, when we have a single digit decimal, we said it's okay to put the 0 there. Whoa, that's not 9 cents, that's 90 cents. All right? So what is 9 cents? We could have 9 cents. There could be something that costs 9 cents, or you get change back that's 9 cents. How are we going to have 9 cents? And that is this. Isn't that 9 cents? Isn't that the correct way to write 9 cents? Well, let's make that money. Let's move it over here. How many pennies do we have in 9 cents? That's correct. I heard somebody say it. 9 cents. 9 cents. And so what are we going to do? We're going to do exactly the same thing because nothing changed with this. The bottom of this column is still $1. So we have 9 of 100 here. And so the fractional equivalent for 0.09 is going to be 9 over 100. All right? Now the good news is it's not just for this 9. All right? The good news is it's this way for 9 8 cents, 7 cents, 6 cents. That sounded like the movie, didn't it? All right, 5 cents, and so on, all the way down to 1 penny. How do we write 1 penny? Can you do that without all of this work? 1 penny out of 100 of them for $1. This is going to be the one all the way at the top if we do all of them, right? 1 penny is going to be 1 over 100. All right? Is that good? So this is a special case. There's only 9 of these numbers, and just look for them. This is 8 cents, 7 cents, 6 cents, and so on. And I want to show you one more special thing that's different from most common problems. And anytime you see a scale or a worksheet like we worked, you're going to see these kinds of decimals. See that? All right. So what do we have there? What can we make of this? Well, it's simple. That's the first thing we want to do. That looks like 10 cents. It's just missing the dollar sign. So if you have to write the dollar sign, okay. If you don't have to, that's great too. That's good. All right. So what does that mean? That means 10 cents. What's this one? Well, that's obviously 20 cents. And this one is obviously 30 cents. Okay, I guess this is working just like the other ones, right? So now we have 10 pennies. 10 pennies out of 100. This one's going to be 20 pennies out of 100. And this one's going to be 30 pennies out of 100. Well, that all makes sense, right? Okay. Well, I'm showing you this because there is one special thing that you're going to do. There is one thing you can do, and that is you can reduce these and make a smaller fraction out of it, and in some cases you're going to have to. It's going to be required. So I go up here, and there is 10, there's 1 10 in the numerator. There's 10 tens in the denominator. I'm just going to take the zeros out on the end. If you want to do them singularly, you can. If you'd want to do it in one bold stroke, you can. Let me give you a bold stroke, because when you really are confident you're doing the right thing, you want to use a bold stroke. Let me use a bold stroke here. Yeah, there we go. All right, we definitely got that one blocked out. So what do we end up with for a fractional equivalent for these? Well, here's a fraction, 1 over 10. Here's 2 over 10. And here's 3 over 10. If you understand this, you're not going to have to do any math in order to simply write in the fractional column over here, 1 over 10. This one is 2 over 10. And this one's 3 over 10. If you can't do that, that's okay. I'm showing you this. Maybe you can't do that this year. Maybe next year. Some of you have 3, 4, maybe 5 years of math left at Pepin. So if you can do this, this is going to be a much easier job for you. All right. And one last thing. No, I think I'll do a part 3. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to check my work and make sure that it's correct. And I'll see you in the next video. It probably won't be as long, but I only got to about here, and I want to make sure that we get all of this in. So I'll do another one. All right. I will see you in the next video.